Hi, friend. Welcome back to the Summit Up podcast. I'm your host, Blake Reid Evans, and this podcast is really focused about bringing happiness to the beauty industry. We are so excited that you are joining this episode. And if you've been enjoying the show so much, we would be honored if you just took a moment to rate and review us or share it with a friend or colleague, because we are really trying to spread as much happiness to the beauty industry as possible. And today's conversation is going to really focus around streamlining your business. Like, how do you get back some of your time? How do you use marketing tactics to make your life easier? Let's go there and talk about cancellation policies and deposits. And the best person to have this conversation with is with our friends from Forrest. And I'm joined today by Siobhan McCaffrey, who's a strategic partnership development manager for Forrest. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here, Blake.
Yeah, I'm so excited because I love the kind of conversations that just like go there and to talk about the things that people are scared to talk about. And I know that a good booking software can help alleviate a lot of those things because I see so many people in our industry in like Facebook groups leaving questions and comments as like an anonymous member because they're kind of embarrassed to ask the question. So I would love for us to today, like to go there and just like to talk about the things that people are scared to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to jump into it all.
Yeah. So I want us to like really jump into, I think first I would love for us to jump into the like marketing side of things
Yeah.
because I've experienced in a lot of salons I go into use Forest and the thing that constantly comes back is like how great the marketing features are. But I know that there are so many salon owners who relate to this that when I decided to open a salon I didn't realize I needed to become like an expert in advertisement and marketing. So what are some of the things that you feel like are really necessary for salon owners to do that they're probably not doing?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, there's a lot of fear around jumping into something new when you haven't done it before. You can do this in any software. Obviously, I work for Forrest, so I will be speaking to that a little bit more than anything. But we try and make it as easy as possible. Like everything is bullet pointed, one, two, three. What do you do next? We prompt you through it. It was always emails to start, then it became text messages. But now it's all into social, and you need to be able to get your new clients, your existing clients to know about all your new features and products, but also capturing lost clients. So when you have a platform that makes that a lot easier for you, you're going to get an awful lot more value out of it. And that's the one thing that we really pride ourselves on in Forest. We let you know whether something is working or not. There's a quote, and the man who said it escapes me now, but it was half of your marketing works and half of your marketing doesn't work. You just don't know which half is which.
Yeah.
So we try and get the guesswork to go away, which is nice. So every campaign that you do in Forest, you see your results. So if you're scared of doing it, start small, see what's working, bend and flex into what's going to get you the most return on your investment. We're fully integrated with Meta, which is really exciting. So you can use your data that you have in your point of sale in your Forest system to find who is your best client and then duplicate those people in and send a campaign out to people that aren't already in your system to get new customers. You can also send it to existing customers for, like, let's say you bring out a new product or a new service. So you can market to them and you can see how it's performing and what your return on investment actually is, which is really, really nice.
That sounds so cool. So if, and correct me if I'm wrong, so are you able to also like make sure that your ads on Meta are served to the people that you have seen before, or is it just like the archetype or like the avatar of who your dream client is?
It's an excellent question, and it's almost creepy if I'm honest. What we can do is, because we have a unique identifier that both we use as a point of sale to contact your customers, and so does Meta to identify you. That unique identifier being your cell phone. So when you're setting up a profile in both, you require that. We have so much data in your system of who's your greatest customers, who's like referring people, who's rebooking, who's buying product, like who's your like biggest spender. And we can see who your perfect customer is, like your best ones. And we can copy them. And it's about 2,400 data points we use. We'll go to Meta and say, find us more lookalikes. Now, obviously not physical lookalikes. Sometimes they will look alike,
Yeah.
but like how they interact with social media, and we'll find people that look just like that audience. But we'll also make sure that they're not already in your system, because we can see everyone that's already there. So we can basically put your ad in front of new eyes, and they truly are new eyes to your business. So it's really exciting.
That's so cool. I'm such a marketing nerd, so like I love this stuff.
Yeah,
I know like for our friend listening right now, they might be like, that sounds creepy as hell.
yeah,
But I love it because my whole mission right now, like as an educator, is I've been trying to talk the talk of like these big businesses, these giant stores that we complain about all the time, these online retailers, these big box stores, are all doing this except on a super grand scale, to the point where we're all part of that too. And as small businesses, I think if we start acting and doing the things that they're doing, we're gonna see a lot of success in that regard. My whole thing is I always wonder just like what stops people from doing it, and I think it's because of overwhelm.
yeah.
So like how easy is it for someone to set all of this up? Because it sounds cool, but you're like 2,800 data points or whatever.
Yeah.
Like how does this work like on a salon owner side of things?
So that's the thing that we try and make as easy as humanly possible. So you just hook up your Instagram and your Facebook to your Forest. You just simply log in. The data's already there. All the hard work is done from you using your system and your clients coming in and booking and you paying people through. So all that information is there as a default. Basically, all you have to do is choose what message do you want to get to the person. So is it a new client one? Is it an existing customer one? Or is it a lost client recapture? And based on that, we give you just a 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 steps in it. We've already got all of your templates ready to go, so you can choose from it. And we do have a dedicated team that if you need a little bit more help and you're not sure what spend to put down, we'll help you talk through that. And we'll jump on a call with you a week, 10 days later. How is it performing? Do we want to, like, you're after tripling your spend. Do you want to go hard at it? Do you want to double what you're putting out to see if we can get more in? And we'll have that conversation back and forth with you, which is nice.
I love that because I think that's the part that I think for me that I keep hearing from customers of Forrest is like they love that there is like a human element to what they do. You know, like a salon I was just with recently was like showing me the data that someone had pulled for them, that like marked I forgot, it was like the market research one where like it kind of benchmarked them
Yeah,
against like salons in their area and then the top salons in their area.
yeah,
And I thought that that was so cool that there was a human that was going in and collecting that data
yeah,
for a salon, because it really is eye-opening. My favorite thing about numbers is that they don't lie.
yeah.
They may be scary and overwhelming and all those things, but like the numbers don't lie. But yeah, there's two parts to it. I just love the human aspect of it because I think that's where that's what people want. And then two, the data, like, you know,
Yeah.
numbers don't lie.
Absolutely. And I love that benchmark report as well, because there's no point in comparing apples and oranges. So there's no point in getting the average. Like, so there's this part of the presentation is 44. Is 44 a good number? You're like, well, I don't know. What is the 44 referring to? And so it's your rebooking rate. So is that a good number or not? And then if you think about, like, you're going to say, no, that's terrible. I want it to be 80%. But if you find out that actually the average in the area is 42%, well, 44 doesn't look so bad now. So it's actually putting some context behind the data to say, oh, okay, that's what the average is in a lookalike audience, which is important.
Yeah, no, I think that that is I think it's something that is definitely needs to be talked about a lot
Yeah.
more, because it's like it's so true. I was really blown away by when we got ours done, just as part of like just testing everything out, and it really did make me feel better about some of the things. And then it made me go back to the table being like, I told you our prices weren't high enough. You know, like I was like, okay, good, now I have data to back me up, because I
Yeah.
knew I've done my own like, you know, wannabe market research. So, you know, like it was great to have more data to back it up, to be like, no, time for price increase, and we just did it.
Absolutely. And people are so scared. Like
Hmm.
67% of people say that how they feel in the salon is the most important thing. The price doesn't come into the top 6.
Hmm.
It's like completely down the bottom. So if you're providing a service and having an experience that people are willing to pay for, they are willing to pay more for it.
1,000%. Yeah. And I like that makes so much sense because I honestly only feel like people bring up price once they didn't have a good experience. Then all of a sudden
100%.
it's just another thing to add to their list of things. It's like I wasn't, I was dismissed by the front desk person. My hairdresser rushed me and it was expensive. Like,
Yeah,
it's just to add fuel to their argument. So I love that you bring up that info because I think that people are scared of pricing. It is a very hot topic right now on social media. And yeah, and it goes to show you, numbers don't lie. People
they
just want to
don't.
feel good in spaces, particularly for the clients that like, I'm assuming Forrest serves. And, when I think about our summit community, like, we're the market leader salons. We're high end, in a lot of cases, mid to high end. And, I know that pricing can be scary, but I also know that once you start stacking up your numbers against the people in the area, then it's great. Because that benchmark report was so cool because it like shows you like all the salons in the area and then like the top salons
Yeah.
in the area. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it is nice to see, and there's the disparity can be really wide or really small depending on what the KPI is you're looking at.
Yeah, it's just so fascinating. So like while we're on the topic of pricing, I would love for us to jump into cancellation policies and deposits because I think deposits are really having a moment right now. And I'm going to share my thoughts on it, and then I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Is because you obviously see so many different salons. I think that some people in our industry have gone so far to one side that they've become so rigid, so intense that they are scaring off the consumer. And the reason why I know that is I see the TikToks of people being like, joking that their stylist charged them like a $200 just like booking fee just to sit in their chair. But then I also know there are people who like don't do anything at all to back themselves up. What are you seeing across the board that like is the most effective for salon companies?
It's like apples and oranges. It's no real comparison, but even if you treat your guest like they're not the same. So an existing customer that's been coming to you for years, still capture their credit card information. If you wish to take a small deposit, absolutely do. But a brand new customer that you don't know from Adam, you can say, oh, I do want to take a deposit. So like 50% is standard right now for taking deposits
Great.
for new customers. We have a feature that's one of my favorites, and it is the no-show offender. If somebody has had a single no-show or more than one no-show, you can dictate how many they have before this kicks in. But up to 100% of the deposit can be requested from somebody that's no-showed from you before. So it fluctuates based on the customer, but 50% for new customers is standard. 20% for existing is really common, or just securing the credit card information.
I love that you talk about that because that's my personal thing is like, our salon's been open for 39 years. So like, I don't want to make Mary, who's been coming to the salon for 32 years, do anything really because she's going to show up, like she's coming. But the random person who found us on Instagram that decided to book a, 4-hour service, that person I for sure want to capture. And I love the idea of it being 50% is becoming the average because I think that's good. I think that's super fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned there like a 4-hour service. Frankly, if someone's coming in for a keratin and they're going to take up that much real estate on my calendar, I would say that certain services, they're due a higher percentage. So something like that big long appointment, that's 50% of my potential earnings that day because it's taken up so much of my book. Maybe I'm taking 100% if it's that much. So being able to have that flexibility is really important, and being able to stand over your policy as well is huge.
And now, is there a way to, because what we've experienced in our salon is that people who circumvent the system, meaning they create like new client IDs and then, like they try to book. And first of all, I've never understood why anytime that we've had to fire a guest, why they would want to come back after they've been fired. That's beyond me. It's like, it's clear that we don't want to do business with you. But somehow they create these new little client IDs.
Yeah.
Is there a way to like avoid that in the system?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have another favorite of mine, a little banned button. So you
Yeah.
can ban somebody, and what that will do is it'll basically blacklist their cell phone and their email from coming back in. So if
Right.
they try and go around the houses and book online, it's going to throw up an error and say that you're not able to book online, you need to call. And as soon as you call, if you pull up that profile, it pops up and says Siobhan's bold, she's not allowed in, she
Yeah.
can't come back. Now, of course, there's sometimes we can't fight crazy. It's just going to be what it is. And someone uses a different phone
They use
number
like an
or
iPad to book. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. So if
Yeah.
somebody like goes to the effort of getting a new cell phone to book, where our hands are a little bit tied on that. But
Of
that
course.
will
Yeah.
also show them as a brand new customer. And if you have that higher percentage down from brand new customers, well, then it's going to protect you.
Yeah. I know. I've only had it happen where I've had to face it head on where I was like, we've already talked, what is your goal with coming back? And it is an like interesting response. They're like, I just love you guys. And it's like, well, it didn't feel like it before, which is why we're no longer working together. But yeah, I love that. And so that's genius, I think, to be able to have that for sure. And then for the ones
Yeah.
that create a new phone is
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that. So that's good. And then how often are you finding that people are doing like chargebacks for deposits? Like, the person who gets charged the no-show fee and they try to
Claw
go
it
to the credit
back.
card company and call it back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that does happen. We have a lot of like fail safes in the system, so you have to agree to your policy in the terms and conditions, and you can
Hmm.
see that that has been checked off. There's also pre-intake forms that you can send out through Forrest, and in that you can include your cancellation policy. And as a standard, they have to sign with their finger,
Hmm.
and that's them agreeing digitally to the policy.
Mm.
So if there is a charge back, we have a full process in place that we will deliver. You can pull it yourself, but we can also help you compile a like an argument, a
Hmm.
countersuit, basically to say no, that was legit. And there's serious success with that because there's so many places that we can say they knew, they knew, they knew, they signed with their finger, like it's saved in the
Yeah.
profile, so you're protected.
I love that. I also like the signing with the finger too, because
Yeah,
that really just shows like a little extra effort that went into
exactly.
agreeing. That's good. Is there any other places that you feel like Salon should include? Excuse me, sir. Are there any other places that you? There we go. Are there any other places that you feel like salons should include their cancellation policies? Like, should it be posted to social? Should it be on their website? Like, where else do you think that people should be posting
Absolutely,
it?
and all of the above. So, I mean, everyone has those little grids at the top of their Instagram. Put in your terms and conditions right there so people know
Yeah,
what they're getting into. Like it's fair to both parties for
exactly.
everyone to walk in with their eyes fully open. I see on people's websites they have like their about us. Have it in there. Have it in the place that people are actually going to look, not down the bottom, the very bottom right down where the little icons for your Instagram are, because you're going to have
Hmm.
your other stuff highlighted at the top. Put the important stuff up the top there. In Forest, you can also have banners for your online rules. So you can like have a banner at the top that says, "We require 24 hours cancellation."
Hmm.
And then again in a disclaimer that they have to check, and then again in that form that they have to sign. So let people will. I mean, many times in my life I've ignored a red flag that I should have paid attention to. They don't want to see what they don't want to see sometimes. We want to make it
I
that
think
it's
we all have.
very.
Yeah.
We want to make it that they see everything that they need to know about.
Oh, yeah, that totally makes sense because I love that because I'm pro like transparency as possible. Like just put it out there. It's fair to both parties, and
Yeah.
I think because they can't say I didn't know if you have it literally flashing in your online booking. They get sent a link when they book, or if they call over the phone. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Now, I would love to jump into service timing because right now one thing that we're talking about a lot at Summit is the era of customized booking,
Yeah.
meaning like we said before, no two humans are the same. I have clients that I can foil in 15 minutes. It went away. Okay.
Oh,
I have clients that I can book in 15 minutes. And then I also are for a foil. And then I have guests that take 45 minutes to do a type of foil. how does that work in terms of Forrest? Like, does it remember what someone has booked for in the past, or is there a prompt, or how does that work?
Yeah, brilliant question. And that's so true. I am unfortunately that customer that takes only 15 minutes because I've got two strands of hair, despite how much I've got sewn in at the back. It is wasting time like in your book is it's just money being slipping through your
Yeah.
fingers. So we want to make it that that's not the case. So you have a customer in, if you do a consultation, we also have availability for online consultation. So you can do a video call, kind of like what we're doing right now, to see the person's
Yeah.
hair, and then you can make a judgment and book accordingly. But once you've set somebody's timing, the next time they're rebooking, if you rebook from their history, everything that they had that last time and all the timing associated is going to pull right through. So instead of you doing a 45 and 45 for me, you're going to do a 15 and a 30. And then you've just given yourself an entire haircut slot that's available now for the next person. So
Yeah.
yeah, we want to make it as easy as possible.
I love that because that's the thing that I'm after now is like, a common misconception, at least on the summit side of things, is that we're so time strict. You have to book in the 45, you have to book on the 30. And while that was true years ago, the reality is that not everyone's the same, so I love that you can have that era of customization, because I think that part, particularly for people like me who work with an associate or multiple associates, like
Yeah.
not everybody's the same. Like I have a client coming in on Friday, and her visit top to bottom takes 4 hours for a touch up, because she's a lightener touch up and she has a ton of hair. And I don't block 4 hours for her, but I need at least, an hour just to do her touch up, just because of how time intensive it is. But, if I booked the way that old school summit said to do it, I would have just been in the weeds the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So, I love that it remembers that part of it for the guest. Now, what about online booking? Does it go back to like a standardized timing for that part of it?
Yeah, the default is going to be online
Okay.
for, so if I'm a new customer, you're not going to have a clue what I require. But again, you can always have for color customers that they do a virtual consultation first. So you can then book it appropriately. So you're not losing that guest by
Yeah.
not having them find their slot and get in front of you. And you can adjust as accordingly in the salon, so directly with the computer versus them doing it online. A way a lot of people are doing this is they're adding like a thick hair bumper that you can add in. So if you've got somebody with thick hair and you just educate them and say you've got thick hair, so add on that little bumper to give you the extra 15 that you might need.
I love that. Well, and you're talking about one of my favorite things, which is you need to train your guests on how to book online.
Yes.
Like, just tell them how much time they need. Like I tell my guests, I honestly don't care what you label the service. I care more about the time frame. So I'm like, I need 45 minutes with you. I need 30 minutes with you, and book whatever, and then I'll figure it out once you get here.
Totally.
And that has been super helpful in regards to that.
Yeah, I've seen a few businesses do things a little bit differently online versus in store for like particularly new customers. Like stuff like Maya is brilliant for finding who you're going to go to, but when it comes to actually booking it, so having a technical service and then a chemical service, so you can have the rather than having a, like you say, a highlight, say when it's a 45-minute chemical service that you
Yep.
require. So it's helping people book the right thing just to save your day,
Yeah.
so you're not having a
Yeah.
nightmare.
1,000%, because people, I mean, I just had it happen a couple of weeks ago where someone booked a toner, and then it was a new person, and I was like, okay, I called them, they didn't answer. They came in and they're like, yeah, I only booked a toner because I couldn't get anything for the next 2 months. And I was like, right.
You still can't.
So what were you hoping to happen today? She goes, I was just, I just got in on your schedule on the little 15-minute slot. And I was like, well, with respect, it's 7:30 p.m. So I can trim your hair. I could break your base. I could do a gloss. There's very little I can achieve in the next 45 minutes. And she was like, are you serious? I came all this way. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, that just goes to show the importance of training people and for new clients particularly. I should have probably called her probably 2 more times than I did, but it's all good.
Yeah.
We ended up working it out, but
Good.
yeah, I think that those kind of services are really good. I love that you brought up Maya, because we actually had Maya on the show recently. What people do you integrate with in terms of like outside technological partners?
Yeah, I'm delighted you brought up. Big love Maya, love Katie, love all the
Hmm.
team. We integrate fully with Vish actually, and there's a really exciting thing being launched. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I'm still going to say keep it in, even if I'm not. Maybe by the time this comes out, it'll be fine. They have launched a full circle link with Forrest, so it's not just that the little, I believe they call it the front desk widget.
Hmm.
The little front desk widget is obsolete now because it'll actually push the full formula right through to Forest, right through to the purchase screen, so it'll land right there. So there's no human error
Wow.
available. So that's an exciting one. So
That's cool. Yeah, because right now it's like you have to like, you have to. There's a human data entry
yeah,
portion of it. So that's amazing that
so we're
it'll just like
super
push
excited
right
about
through.
that. Yeah, we're so excited. We're the first point of sale to have that functionality.
Yeah.
I actually was just listening to Tim's episode
Oh yeah.
before I jumped on, and he was saying how sometimes it's not a partial highlight, it's a full highlight. So you can either pay for your time or you can bump up the color because the allowance for the color is going to be different.
Yeah.
Well, if you're in Vish and you say this is a full highlight, if I hit full highlight, it's going to automatically update the appointment screen and the
Mm,
ticket for you. So it means your utilization is going to be more accurate as well because a highlight's going to take a little bit longer than a partial. So
mhm.
it means that your reports, and we have the summit report, so it means that that's going to be accurate now because it's reflective of what actually happened. So that's really nice. So I'm excited for that one. It's just been launched recently. There's a few people in beta and it's going really well. All the feedback is wonderful, which is great.
Oh, I'm so excited about that. I just love my favorite thing right now that's happening in the industry and is watching all of the tech partners kind of like go together, kind of like I don't know, like the Power Rangers,
Yeah.
like you're just like forming together to like help people because so much of this is so overwhelming and like we really need to, things like this need to happen. Like things like Vish
Yeah.
need to has been so needed in our industry. I mean, we just ran the data. Like Vish saved us $30,000 in our first year.
That's
Like
amazing.
it is that's a like that's crazy. And that's without we haven't even implemented the charging portion
I
of
was
it.
just about to ask. Oh
No,
my
we,
God.
we we all we did was just start tracking waste and like I'm like, okay, now what's next? We're gonna implement charging in the next few
Yeah.
months, but like it is just game changer for us.
It is, and it's brilliant for your staff. So, like, if somebody is unwell and can't take their customer, and
Of
one of
course,
their
yeah.
colleagues has, so the customer, it's that experience thing. So, if you're increasing your prices, you have to make sure that your service is lining up. And I can't be coming out with a totally different shade of blonde each time I come to you. It's
No.
like it just allows you to make sure that you've got uniform, like a uniform standard, which is really nice.
Yeah, my favorite is when a client's like, write this down. And I was like, it's already written down. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I didn't have to write anything, actually. I like it too, because as a creative colorist, sometimes I'm like, what made me use that one? I never used that shade before, but it worked. But yeah, I really do love that. And I love that it's integrated. I would love for us to also talk about expert recommendations, because I
Yes.
think that this is also a missing piece in our industry. So can we talk about that feature?
Yeah, absolutely. So, stylists have access to a system called Forest Go, which is an app on their cell phone. As an owner, you can give as much or as little access to it. So, it can be as simple as I can see my book and add my notes, or add before and
Hmm.
after pictures, or do an expert recommendation. Or, from an owner perspective, I can run my entire business essentially from the cell phone, which is glorious. You can be on a beach somewhere sipping a Mai Tai and check how much cash is in a till in
Yeah.
Arkansas. It's a really great one. But the functionality that you're mentioning there is expert recommendations, and I kind of twofold with this one. The retail to service is always the number that people aren't happy with. It's
Hmm.
the stylists are not, like, I don't know what it is to get the conversation going, but it can be a tough one. I'm just going to circle back to something we were talking about earlier, the forums. One of the things that you can do in your forums is you can add a question that says, would you like your stylist to discuss home care with you or aftercare with you? And when the guest says yes to that, that gives an opening for the stylist to have that conversation. It's the customer giving you permission to tell them about hair care products that are going to help prolong their color or their style, whatever it may be. But let's say that conversation didn't end up happening. You're running a little bit late. Maybe it was a first time customer. You didn't know how long you needed to extend your service by for the next time. And a customer leaves and they haven't purchased the product. You can go into your Forrest Go app, hit expert recommendations, pick up the products that you had recommended to them and scan the barcodes. That's going to essentially create a link that is under my name as the stylist. And it'll send a purchase link to the customer so they can get a little link where I can say, hey, Siobhan, these are the products that I spoke to you about today. They'll already be sitting in a cart so they can go straight to purchase, or they can X what they don't want to purchase. And they can have that it's shipped out by the salon, or you can have it that it's pickup. And then all of that filters into your reports as well. So you will get commission on them just like they had purchased it in store and they haven't gone to Amazon. And they're still getting the product.
That's awesome. And then I'm not sure if you do, but like, do you integrate with Salon Interactive at all?
Yeah, so you can pull all your Salon Interactive report, everything that you're selling into your templates, your emails, and your text marketing. Cool. You can even use it through the meta side of things as well. So if you're doing an ad, you can say whatever link you want something to go to. So cool. All of the functionality, you can put custom links in.
I love that. Yeah, because I think that that's so beneficial, because we realized that we didn't want to pack and ship at the salon our orders. And then when Salon Interactive came along, that's when things were really effective for us. So yeah. I love that. I love that people have the option to pack and ship if they want to. Yeah. And then, of course, having the other options. It's so cool. Yeah. I love that. So what would you say, like, what is like your favorite feature that Forrest has to offer?
That's twofold. So I actually ran a salon in Ireland for 10 years using Forrest. And at the time, my favorite thing was the reports, because they are second to none, so easy to use, so common sensey. You know, you're not running around trying to find 15 different numbers in 15 different places. Like, if you want to look at staff performance, it's going to give you everything that you require to know about staff performance in one report, which is glorious. But now I'm on this side, and I was running a salon in Ireland. It is chalk and cheese between what the salons in North America are like. So it's very different. And it's the marketing that really, really shines in America for sure. America and Canada, not to forget our friends. Yes. It's without a shadow of a doubt. I know I mentioned the meta side of things earlier, but things like all these safety nets that we have. So if your client walks out and they've forgotten to rebook with you, or said, oh, I need to check my calendar, we have a rebooking message that goes to them the next day to say, hey, our calendar is filling up fast. Don't forget to rebook. Let's say they slide through a little bit further. We've got the reconnect message. And what that does is it learns your individual client's booking cycles. So I get my color done every 8 weeks. Probably should do it every 6 weeks. The grays are coming in hard and fast, but every 8 weeks. If it's 8 weeks,
but it's fresh today.
It is. Yeah. It is. I got it done specially. As soon as Andrea told me that there was going to be a camera, I was like, all right, I'll do the rates. It's time. Yeah. So it will learn your client's booking cycle. So it'll then send them another nudge to be like, hey, you're either walking around with kind of crappy routes or you've gone somewhere else, but let's try capture you before either of those things happen. So it's making sure that you're sending the messages at the right time. And I mentioned earlier about the meta side of things for lost clients. So if you've lost somebody, we can send out ads to those lost customers. So you're just like this gentle reminder. Have you ever seen your ex on your Instagram as you're scrolling through and they pop into your head? We're that creepy ex that are just popping into your head again. So we really try and automate all these things. That's just one example for like getting them back in.
That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, I love that. For Meta. Oh, and also just to define too, Meta is Facebook and Instagram, just in case if people miss that part of it. But yeah, I love that you can do that. I think that it is a little creepy, but I think it's so cool on the marketing side of things that we can target people, and that kind of technology isn't just for these giant businesses. To circle back to our beginning, you know, it's like as small businesses, if we want to play the big game, we've got to start acting and doing things like that. So I love that Forrest has all that available.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the big things we try, like these huge, big companies that have been using these technologies for years, are trying to put them into the hands of smaller, more independent businesses. So they're not missing out on the cool new features that are happening right now.
I love that. And Siobhan, what would you say is the best way for people to be able to connect with Forrest?
So I mean, we've Instagram if you want to follow our Instagram, but directly forrest.com if you're interested in finding more, you can go straight there. I can send you a direct link so it's associated with this, so we know that people heard about us through that. That'd be great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. And we'll have everything linked in the show notes. And if you're like taking notes for whatever reason and you're trying to spell Forest without the PH, it is Phorest. So you can make sure that you can find Forest there. And so we have our signature question. What does happiness mean to you?
Ooh, great question. Oh, I really want to just say a glass of cold Sauvignon Blanc, but I won't. It's getting home to Ireland to see my family and the family that I've created, even if they're not by blood.
Yeah.
So that would be happiness to me, is getting home to Ireland, seeing family and friends, reconnecting with all the people that you've gathered in your life.
I love that so much. Well, Siobhan, thank you so much for your time. Thank you to Forrest for allowing us to have you on the show. And friends, if you have any questions, make sure you reach out and connect with them as soon as possible, because I'm seeing a lot of shifts in our industry from different booking softwares. And, now's the time to make sure you have all the technology that you need to support your business. So thank you so much for joining us, Siobhan. And thank you, friend, for listening. And if you love this episode, share it with a colleague, rate and review us wherever you're listening to us. And we'll talk to you next time.